Hello and welcome to ETTO's Catch Up number 53.
Catch up.
Catch up.
ETTO's Catch Up.
ETTO's Catch Up. Welcome to. We're trying to rein in because we have the Germans and we have the Australians. I don't know what accent I was going for there, but I'm hoping that they really enjoy this podcast specifically. I don't think there was any accent. It may be another planet. There may be another planet tuning into this one that's like, oh my god, I feel seen. Which would be great.
Mork from Orcs planet.
That was a little bit, wasn't it? Yeah, that was totally it. This is the only show, and today on it, who is your daddy and what does he do?
Nice. And just some of the most wholesome news I think we've ever had on the show. Yeah,
that's very sweet.
It's delightful. I am actually here in this room. It looks like I'm green screened because I got like a weird fuzz about me, but... I'm in a... That's right. That's it.
I'm very clean.
Yes, only shaved yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm in the recording studio of my fiance.
Catch up.
A house that she currently lives in. And her housemate has a recording studio. He's got musical instruments everywhere. Yeah. And so I figure this is just the nicest, most soundproof and clean audio room in the place. So
wouldn't it be great if I did this and like I was on a green screen?
Just a green screen fell over.
Yeah. I'm next door. I just walk in.
That'd be so good.
What a twist.
What a twist.
Catch us up, Josh.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's been 2 weeks since I've been on the pod, but only 5 days ago since time of recording. I popped the question to the aforementioned fiance.
You said, do you want to be on the pod?
Yeah. She said, I podded the question. You guys know that I mention all the freaking time. It's the only person I ever do things with is Ben on streams or my girlfriend. Maxine. Popped the question to her last week. She said yes. This was there was nervousness about the whole situation, but not about her saying no, because we've had everything booked for months. We've had our venue booked since January, like photographers, everything's been booked. We've been buying things for ages, so it's like she's going to say yes. But at some point, I think much earlier this year, I think maybe on like one of the first Dead Island episodes, like streams that we did, maybe I mentioned that I'd been working on a song. That was for that. And she was watching, and ever since then she's been like, what is this song? I'm like, it's just something I'm working on, I'll show you when it's done. I was like, crap, I forgot she was watching. Should have mentioned it. So I wrote her a song, hopefully going to be recording that as part of this whatever music project that I'm currently working on at some point. I'll keep working on it. But yeah, it went very well. I was hoping to go down to the beach, do it on the beach, because I know she loves the beach. But the weather in Melbourne just doesn't allow for you to plan ahead with those sorts of things. And the Easter long weekend was just awful for weather. It was just on and off raining the whole time. Anyway, basically the whole story, she came over to, start booking our honeymoon and looking into that. We're going to Japan for anyone that wants to know. Very excited. But she was like super tired. She came in basically just pajamas, which is why if you saw her on Instagram or anything like that, the photo, she's just in like a jumper, whatever, just like a plain grey jumper. And she just laid down on the lounge and was like, man, I'm so tired. Like, man, I'm so over everything. I can't do anything. And I'm like, well, I have enough energy that I could just, remodel the whole apartment. So I just got up and started pushing stuff out of the way. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, remodeling the apartment. I got energy. They left the room, got a video of a beach sunset on my phone and casted that to the TV. She's like, what is happening? I'm like, I'm just remodeling. Just don't worry about it.
Threw sand in her face.
I got I already had in my backpack for the beach, like for the idea to go to the beach, a picnic blanket.
Yep.
So I went and put the picnic blanket in the living room in front of the TV.
Did you like do it? Did you like try and do it like 9 times because the wind kept picking it up and you're like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to get it.
That would have been perfect. And I had like fairy lights that I'd already planned that had batteries in them. So I dropped those down, got my guitar and sat down and was like, come sit with me. And she sat down and I'm like, I finished the song. Yeah. And at that point, she was like, oh, this is just like a fun little thing he wanted to do to show me the song. Yeah. So literally not even at this point she realized, like she'd thought about it. Yeah. And then when I was like, I finished the song, she's like, oh, it's for the song. Cool. Yeah. And then I played the whole song and it's literally about me wanting to marry her. Yeah. Yeah. And then at the end she's like, that's so nice. Still just thought it was the song. It wasn't until literally I dropped on a knee that she figured it out. So good. I don't like. I was not expecting to be able to subvert expectations at all. I thought the whole way leading up, this was like, this is it. This is the thing. Like we've been planning this for months.
Regular little Ryan Johnson, you are. You just blow people away with your choices.
That's right. That's it. So, yeah, it was freaking great. Like, I'm so glad that she just had no idea the whole way.
That's so good.
Yeah. So it was good fun. And then we just made all our calls. Yep. And then we just sat down and started planning the honeymoon. That was the day. Like, that was our whole day. It was just, that in the morning. Yeah. Calls, like, couple of calls to family and stuff. And then... And then that was it.
Very sweet. It's a shame that I know that she hated my bit of the John Mulaney thing because I know that the humor wouldn't lie for her, that after all this time she would just say no as a bit. Because clearly, like, lovely, very funny person, but like that's not where that, like that's, I would do that. Like,
totally.
If after all this time someone then proposed, I'd be like, no. Like, but we're here planning the honeymoon.
We're just friends, man.
Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck, dude?
That was so good. Nah, she didn't hate your John Mulaney thing. She was just confused as to why you would hold on to that for so long.
Yeah. It's a very confusing bit. So it's fair. It's fair.
It is. It's just us. It's just something we would do. Like,
yeah.
100%.
Very funny. Very nice. Funny. Oh, very sweet.
Cool. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.
That's the podcast.
Done.
We had Sam on last week and I did a noise on every bit and he was just in shock. It was great.
Amazing.
Especially the cues from Youse when I was like, and we call this seg, and he was like, what? Which is very
That's
fun.
So good.
This is the news.
Who is my daddy, Will?
Who is your daddy?
Dad.
This is very interesting. I love my celebrities and I love getting like deep into their existence and their family history and stuff. And so do these two people, apparently. Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. They're set to reunite in a Apple TV series. They were in the True Detective like movie and series, coming back for another thing. Ironically called Brother from Another Mother. And in this thing, they're actually playing fictionalized versions of themselves living together in Texas. So
that's great.
Which should be very fun.
I love this, like, movies where actors play
totally
hyper realistic versions of themselves.
Yeah.
I still need to watch Unbearable Weight, but like I just love the idea of that.
Total, especially like I say, I love celebrities in the realm we're in, where like we adore and I feel like know a lot more about celebrities than ever. It's like, it's fun to have them play the versions that we think they are. Like, it's a fun bit.
100%. It's so cool.
We don't know when that's coming out, but alongside kind of promo for this thing, Matthew McConaughey was talking in an interview, and he was saying that, like, they've been friends for ages. The kind of line between family and friends is pretty murky. He said he's like, his kids call Woody Harrelson Uncle Woody and vice versa. Weirdly, Woody Harrelson's kids call him Uncle Woody. I don't know. But he was saying, they were on a holiday, like the two families in Greece a few years ago. And Matthew McConaughey's mum said to Woody Harrelson, "I knew your dad," but there was a heavy emphasis on "knew" in a very, like, connotation way. And so
interesting.
The two actors were then like, should we, like, look into this? Like just to see, like, what she means by "knew," like how close were our families in actuality. They went on a little deep dive and did some maths and found out that Woody Harrelson's dad was suspended from work at the same time Matthew McConaughey's mum and dad were in their second divorce. So there was a crossover there. And that there were also receipts and places that the mum and his dad could have been in Texas at the same time, around when Matthew McConaughey could have been conceived. So the two of them are like debating having a DNA test. It's like so funny that this fucking show is called Brother from Another Mother.
Yeah. Did that happen? Is that like literally...
It's not why the show's called that, but I think during the process of creating this thing, they've found out this information, and it's just the perfect fucking promo material to want to watch this show. Woody Harrelson, I'll talk about his dad in a second. You may know about his dad, but he's not as close to his dad as McConaughey was to his father, and so he doesn't really want to do a DNA test because he doesn't want that to be broken. Woody Harrelson, however, it's a known thing, but I barely knew this, and I feel like you may be unaware. Harrison's father, Charles, was a contract killer who was first convicted in 1960 for armed robbery. He was jailed in 1973 for murder and released after 5 years for good behavior. In 1981, he was given 2 life sentences for the assassination of a district judge. He also claimed to have assassinated Kennedy. And I mean, look, if you're a killer, you might as well say you did it. But, like, so Harrelson never really had a tight relationship with his dad. So he's kind of like, look, if the dude made McConaughey, I don't really care. But the other way around, McConaughey is not overly keen. But,
interesting. That's wild. What a thing. What the heck?
So, there may be, whether they check in, there may be a deeper level to that show. And I'm excited to watch it, especially being on Apple TV. The two shows I've watched, Shrinking and, I mean, they're both the same showrunner, but Shrinking and Ted Lasso are amazing. Everything on Apple TV seems really good, so... Yeah,
and there's a show or a movie, Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
Called Stills. That looks so good.
And there's really, like recreation shit in that. Like they've filmed... Fucking hell, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm super keen to jump onto Apple TV soon.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, that's the daddy, and that's what he did. He may have killed John F. Kennedy.
Incredible. Oh,
there you
go. Well, a couple that didn't kill anyone, but maybe stole the hearts. Of a whole audience at a particular gaming competition. Are the people of my next story. What a segue.
Jesus.
Loved it.
You were there.
Everybody... I didn't want to give away too much, I'm leaning towards it. I'm like, crap, I gotta pull back. Didn't work. Everybody remembers and loves one of the greatest games of all time, Wii Sports. Everyone knows and loves the greatest sport within that game, Wii Bowling. One of the best things ever.
Yep.
Well, a Wii Bowling LAN competition hosted by Gamers Assembly was held in France last weekend, at time of recording, where 96-year-old Janine and 85-year-old Gilbert...
Wow.
Best names ever.
Yeah.
Competed representing their retirement home.
Cute.
And they won.
Good. It's just against other people, like just other people. Wow.
Yeah, it's like a huge audience. You'll see, I sent you a video on Facebook. There's like a huge audience of young people, like young gamers. And this is Janine lining up her final shot to take home the competition. And you can just see the pure joy. Just
it's
everyone.
a little jump.
Yeah, and
amazing.
The audience, look,
wow.
The hosts are losing their mind. The huge audience is going nuts. There's freaking sweeping camera shots and stuff.
I love it, and they've got such the old people thing of like, oh yeah, like they don't even react. They're like,
like this is what she would do if she won in front of her family. She's at bingo right now. She's not at an esports stadium. That's so sweet. Yeah. It's so good. Like,
look at his reaction.
The lighting going off, the smoke machines. It's so freaking wholesome. It's sweet. Yeah, so there's a few different shots on Twitter, like clips on Twitter and stuff of them winning. I'm sure probably the whole competition exists somewhere on YouTube, but it's the most wholesome thing, and I could not look past it when I saw it and watched the clip.
Oh, man.
Like, man, that's just the freaking best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, 96 and 85, representing a retirement home.
Oh, my God.
It's so good.
Oh, man. It's a shame they don't have... I mean, it's so funny. It's like there's no league. There's no, like, you're too old to play. They just are that good.
Yeah. And I love that, like, the Wii is continuing to be played at this retirement home. Yeah.
No one picked up Wii Switch Sports. No one touched that thing.
No one cares. No. And before anyone calls me out, I think I just saw that it was Wii Resort Bowling.
Oh, yeah.
But no one cares, so shut up.
It's the same game. The same game. That was bullshit. Yeah. That was such a dumb... That was a DLC. It was insane that it came out on a separate thing. And
100%, yeah.
It had the fucking extra thing to put in the bottom, and it's like, well, how much is this doing?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a rumble pack.
Totally. Ridiculous.
Very sweet. I've got no wholesome stuff, but it does involve people. So, there's links there. A bunch of people, because... You remember a while ago, basically I think the first thing that's going to come out of the new James Gunn... Superman's apparently the beginning of it all. But the first animated thing is Creature Commandos, which was that lineup of very obscure characters. It definitely feels like Gunn's going for a Guardians crew, and it's like, no one cares about this, so I'll make them good, and people will be like, oh, wow, this is great. 7 episodes. It has no release date, but we have the cast officially now for all those individual wacky characters, and they are all people we know, because of course they are.
Amazing.
We've got a picture of them. This is the one that was originally released. There's a few characters not in this image, but we at least have the voice cast. The obvious one.
Sick. This looks great. Is this the actual animated art style?
Yes. As well? Yeah. This is a still from the creatives. Who knows how it will move, but this is the look of the show as well. Yeah.
Yeah. This looks like a more detailed Invincible.
Yeah, totally.
It looks like it'll be like animated, like Invincible kind of thing. Like almost anime. It looks quite anime.
Totally. Yeah. I assume everything just flows when they're moving around. Like there's so much motion in the designs of the characters.
Yeah, you can imagine like that lady with the black hair, like that's just going to be
just constantly
almost smoky or waving around. Yeah, for sure.
So the obvious one, Weasel, is going to be still played by Sean Gunn, James's brother.
Excellent. Yeah, cool, good.
But given that character doesn't really have any lines, the character behind him in the image, G.I. Robot, will also be voiced by Sean Gunn. So he actually has a performance role. The interesting thing
I'm excited for him to sound like his character and
just talk like this all the time, like this. Just
yeah.
Super 100%. Awkward.
So cool.
All these people as well are going to be obviously the live action components of these characters too. So it'll be interesting to see him playing two. I guess they'll just get him to mocap one or the other. Steve Agee will return. He's not in the picture, but as John O'Cononis, the dyebeard from Peacemaker, he will also be a character in this show. Cool. But kicking off the voices we didn't know about, Frank Grillo, who is Crossbones in the MCU and a bunch of other stuff, he will be playing Rick Flag Sr., which is the character on the left-hand side.
Very left, yep.
Which is, of course, Rick Flagg's daddy. I assume we're following the timeline out of the Suicide Squad, and it will be, kind of that familiar connection to that character we've already seen. Which is called Maria Bakalova, who is Borat's daughter in the sequel, but also voices Cosmo in the MCU. So
cool. I didn't know that. That's cute. Awesome.
Yeah. So there's that link. She'll be playing Princess Elenia Vrostovic, who isn't in this, and is also seemingly a new character. I couldn't find any DC history on her.
Yeah, right. So an original character for the series.
Yeah. Because there isn't enough new about these characters.
Of course.
We've also got Indria Varman, who is in Game of Thrones, Luther, Rome, but for nerds that don't touch those things. She was the rebel lady in Kenobi that helped Obi-Wan, and she I think she got killed at some point. I can't remember. That show is kind of a blur.
Yeah. I think I remember the one. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Okay.
So she'll be playing the bride, so the Frankenstein's bride character.
Yeah, nice.
Which is cool. I can definitely say that. Zoe Shao, who I don't know very well, is playing Nina Mazurki, who is the fish alien thing. Obviously hidden along. I feel like I looked her up, but I can't remember. Anyway, the last two. Dr. Phosphorus, who's of course the Flamey Boy, is played by Alan Tudyk.
Amazing.
Because why not?
So good.
And the one that I'm most excited for, and is I want you to guess. If you look at Dr. Frankenstein, who would you get to play that in terms of people that we are familiar with in this modern pop culture age?
Oh man,
someone that has touched the Marvel flame and is also in some other stuff that is
other stuff
TV series that are kind of in the nerd sphere. So it's a larger build.
Crap.
I shouldn't make you guess a fucking actor's name.
Yeah, don't tell me names.
It's David Harbour.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at him.
Yeah, looking at that character, of course, that's fucking David Harbour.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's interesting, looking at them, less so Rick Flag, but looking at these characters, I do wonder if they already had names in mind when they were designing them, because especially Frankenstein, I can see David Harbour in that character.
Yeah. Now you say it, I'm just trying to think of people that have touched multiple different things that we're aware of.
It's him. And it's a cool eclectic lineup of characters. Definitely some interesting sounding voices from different kind of ethnicities and accents and stuff. So it'll be a nice roster. Very Guardians heavy in terms of the uniqueness of the characters and stuff. So it'll be cool. Sure. It'll be cool to see them then become live action later down the track, and what that will look like. So that's the update on Creature Commandos, which we'll hopefully be seeing soonish.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, from one animated star-studded lineup to another, the Super Mario movie passes 500 million globally, becoming the highest-grossing video game adaptation movie of all time.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Of all time.
So this beats out Warcraft, which was big in China, not anywhere else, but big in China. And it was a pretty good movie.
That's all right.
I enjoyed it for what it was. Detective Pikachu and Sonic 1 and 2. So it beats out all of those. But not only that, it's kind of reached a few records.
Okay.
It's also currently the highest grossing movie of the year so far.
Okay.
So beating Ant-Man and stuff already.
Yeah.
But it does have, Guardians and Mission Impossibles and stuff to compete with. But we'll see later on. But for now, it's doing pretty well. And it also sets the record for the highest earning or biggest opening ever for an animated film.
Wow.
For the opening weekend. At an estimated 368 million worldwide.
Jesus. It's so interesting to me because, I liked it, and we'll talk about it later. In my mind, I can't imagine it being the biggest one purely because it's Mario. There feels like a barrier, a very small barrier of entry, but it's like something like Lego Movie. I feel like you would expect to be the bigger one in terms of like a catchment of everybody.
Yeah, like, for sure.
Maybe it's that it's shorter, and I guess it's school holidays, at least in Australia, maybe in other parts of the world.
Probably hit at the right time. I don't know. But it is like highly accessible to, you know, like it's such a big part. Like, you know, Lego is big with older and younger. But maybe it's like, you know, the older generation maybe hasn't quite continued. There are some people that have, but maybe not to the same level.
Yep.
To like go and want to see a movie, whereas gaming has such a hold on people, or such a nostalgia for people, that people will want to see, even if they haven't played a Mario game since Nintendo 64. They probably just have such a special place. That's true. For this in their heart, and they've interacted with it in a different way, that they've just put Lego together, and they love Lego as a general thing. Yeah. But there's more of a story behind Mario that's potentially captured people. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess there's a stronger icon as well. Even if there's not a story, it's like, yeah, I guess you see Mario, you're like, I know what that is. Whereas you see Emmett, Lego, you're like, who the fuck is that? Yeah. Like everything is Lego, so it's maybe a bit too generic. Yeah. But yeah, it's how wild. Yeah. Man, it's crazy. It is done very, very well. What is the future of these video game things now? Like back to back, basically, Last of Us and Mario now have done well. Its opening weekend was also Easter. Yeah, okay. So it's just like public holiday all around. Like nearly not every country, because not every country would have it, but like most Western countries would have a long weekend. Yep. Yeah, it's true. So that would definitely help. I wonder if the long weekend counts as an opening weekend, like Monday. 4 days. Yeah, maybe. Interesting. Maybe. That extra day could have given. Maybe there's a loophole in there, but I feel like that definitely would have helped him. We should release Project Eden Volume 2 on the Easter weekend next year. We'll see how that does. But for now, that was the news. Let's get the heck out of the news. Get out of here! Welcome to the ad read. We still have no ads, but thank you to everyone. There's lots of people joining the Patreon, people having fun in the Discord. Just want to say a general thank you to everyone for sticking around and enjoying our content, I guess. I feel like the streams have been lifted by some new viewers as well. There's a few new names in there every now and then, which is really fun. So if anyone's coming from the Twitch to watch this, thank you. It's good. Thank you so much. We have a bit of a change up with the streams. Yep. But we'll probably talk about it. Ben and I will talk about it on Monday. Yeah. There's a sneaky little hint about what might be changing. But yes. Yes. There'll still be streams on the Monday. But yeah, things may be different. Oh, something that's never different though is this noise. It's cues from Youse. One of my favorite noises. I love that. That's very good. That's a good one. Yeah. And I play the full versions of them sometimes in the stream starting music, and so that one gets like there's a like a fourth verse or whatever where a guy comes in and he's like and it's like, oh, this is sick. So that's so good. That's why you should check us out on Twitch so you can hear the full versions of all these songs. Definitely. It's Cue from Youse, where you give us cues for us to A in the Discord, and the hashtag AskEtto channel gives us cues. We'll A them. Dolphin Pants asks, if you had to complete a new degree at uni, what are you picking? That's pretty good. Another one, Josh? Once again. You're back. I think mine is still, I mean, it's not a new one, it's the first one, but it would still be teaching. I still really would like to do teaching. I still don't know what it would be. Like, obviously, the easiest one would be to get the baseline degree and then just do media teaching, like just be a media teacher. But I also have always wanted to kind of do like junior school teaching and like have a class. That
That's always what a big roundabout from Who's Your Daddy and What Does He Do? We're back to Kindergarten Cop. That film inspired me as a child, and I really wanted to be as big as Arnold and also teach children.
Perfect. So good. And be a cop.
And be a cop. Well, it's a very busy life to be Arnold. It's like me, right? I have 3 jobs right now. I'm almost there. I just need to change all 3 jobs, and I would be Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film Kindergarten Cop. But yeah, that's always been one that I would love to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair. I've always thought about, so ages ago I found out that there was a subject in a course, and it was at the University of Melbourne. But I more recently found out that it was the University of Melbourne in Canada. So it's not now where I am. This was even like years before I think I even started considering game development.
Yeah.
There was a course in a physical fitness or personal training whatever course called The Science of Batman. And it's literally a course about where they look at Batman's the stuff that Batman has put his body through and how realistic all of those things are. Falling from the movies, like falling through down a huge amount of what is it, like a parking garage and landing on a car. Is that possible? The amount of distance that he just fell, basically free fall, like breaking your back in a certain way and being able to work out your way out of that. Things like that. Like he puts his body through some insane stuff, and they look through the realistic physicality of that and whether it's possible. And I've thought that is such an interesting thing to look at. I've always wanted to do just that one subject. Would be really, really cool.
It would make you the worst person to watch a Batman film with, though. Like that is a pipeline to being an annoying human being. But like really cool for you. But it's like you could never watch another. Not even Batman, just superhero media in general. You would just be fucking annoying.
100%. Yeah. You know exactly what the human body could handle.
That's not realistic. Like no shit. Shut up.
But yeah, that would be like a single subject that I would like to do. But I think within like the sphere that I'm currently in, just to be able to make more of my own stuff, I would love to do a 3D art course. Not that I'm very good at art in general, but I would love to be able to just make a 3D, like make 3D objects and stuff. And I know that I can do that a lot with online courses and YouTube and stuff. There's a lot out there. There's like an Australian guy that one of our followers was doing courses of, is like Milk or someone.
Oh yeah.
I forget who it was. Sorry I'm forgetting who that was, but someone was doing, like, they were making donuts and stuff like that. And I was looking at some of those courses, watching some of them, but not going through them. Blender Guru was the YouTuber. He's an Australian dude. I think he's in Queensland. Something like that, just to be able to, make some 3D stuff and do some animation with them and things like that, to be able to make my own stuff. I think the main way that I would sit down and learn that is by having to pay for it. And having to have a set time to be able to do it, because it's really hard to sit down and make yourself learn a thing like that.
Fuck, man.
I'm currently doing that a little more explicitly with music. Trying to learn a different styles of guitar right now. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get that motivation when you just want to play video games.
Totally. Yeah. And just not work, because in so just many ways, learning is work. And getting away from a computer. That's the thing. That's why I do so much console gaming. Like, I know that I can get games cheaper from Steam. I just don't want to sit at my computer anymore. And then I can, with the music, I can just take my guitar to another room. And just you can set up have my phone there instead. And play the guitar just for fun. No other reason.
Right.
God.
No other reason.
I'll show you a song.
Yes. Yeah. That or a music course, I guess. Now that I've said that. I'd love to, like, you know, I've tried so many times to learn like jazz and stuff. I would love to learn jazz or like get better at blues and things like that. That would be sick.
Yeah. Good pick. We touched on him. Maybe he didn't make a donut, but he did ask us a question. Milk says, as someone with an already interesting sleeping quirk, you gotta tell us what it is now, Milk. What would you want to find out you do in your sleep? Which is interesting. I would just, and I know it's not hard, I just set up a camera. I would just love to know how I physically move in my sleep. Or like, I want to see the moment I fall asleep. I know this isn't the answer to the quirk question, but I just like, that fascinates me because it doesn't happen, like you don't know when you fall asleep and that fucks with my brain so much. Like, cause I don't remember who said it, but it's like you have to fake sleeping to sleep.
Yes.
Which is so bizarre.
You just lay there and close your eyes for a bit. Yeah.
And then at some point your brain just powers down. I would love to see when that happens. And like, because I assume that I like go into a slip, like a second state where I'm not in control of my body because obviously my body must find the perfect position to sleep. And so I'd love to see that happen because I won't remember changing into that position. Things like that. I know that's not a quirk, but that's a sleep-related thing that I've been so intrigued by because it's such a strange thing. Sleep is so weird.
Interesting. It is. It's an odd thing. Yeah. Just hundreds of people around you are just lying horizontally unconscious.
Yeah. We all just turn off.
It's so bizarre.
But a quirk that we would like to know we do in our sleep.
Yeah. Look. Not that you would be able to tell, but I would love to find out that I was like working out in the middle of my sleep and just like, you know,
pump an iron,
just bulking.
Yeah.
That would be rad. I do know. I don't know if I do it unconsciously, but I know that semi-consciously, if I need to like roll over, like if I'm facing one way and I'm like, I need to go the other side. Sometimes I literally throw myself in the air and rotate in the air.
Jesus.
To like bounce back in the position. I think it's because I'm still in a single bed.
Yeah. You can't roll
over. Like there's not a whole lot of space to roll. And, if you like roll and then have to like shuffle, there's a lot of pulling on the clothing. But if you just throw yourself in the air and rotate in the air, there's no space for any pulling and stuff because you're just in the air while rotating. So I think I literally flip myself to rotate. And I would love to know if I do that in my sleep. Yeah. I'm aware sometimes that I do.
You know you've done it yourself, but whether you just do it asleep.
I know I semi-consciously do it. Yeah. And when I land, I'm like, what the hell is wrong? But yeah, I would love to know some of my movements in my sleep and how dramatic they are. And how much that I may like kick my future wife. Like, am I going to injure them?
Body slam them. It's a human.
Pretty much.
Just crush them in the night. This, like, the workout thing, I would love to know that I do it as well. I'd love to know that I just... but
great.
There's an episode of the recent series of Rick and Morty, which is basically that they... And it's, I think, one of my favorite episodes of the show ever, where Rick devises a way that when they fall asleep, they have, like, zombified versions of them that do the house chores. And so... Of course, being that show, by the end of the episode, the zombified versions hate their real selves. So they're like trying to seep out of the psych. It's a fucking awesome episode. But so whenever I'm like when you said the workout thing, I'm like, yeah, I'd love that. But I'm like, oh, my sleep me would hate that. my sleep me wouldn't want to work out. He'd want to be asleep.
Sure.
Which is, it's a real it's a really that season was awesome. It's a shame because of everything that's happened, but that there were some really cool episodes in that one.
Nice.
But they were really good questions. We'll keep this one tight. We'll keep this pod tight. Let's keep it tight. Let's keep our hands and the arms in the inside, or whatever the fuck I said a year ago. There you go. Inside that box, Josh. Speaking of boxes. Wreck.
Just the slide.
Yeah.
The slide, like, there is a literal transition in there. It happens.
It's because I don't want to just cut out of it, so I'm like, what's something fun? So we'll just slide to the same faces.
It's so good.
This is the rec seg. This is where we wreck things. I've not done or watched anything, but I think I've seen things that you've seen, so you can own this one, and we'll chat about things that we need to chat about.
Nice. I will quickly talk about a couple of things that I have watched that we don't need to talk about much. I've watched a lot of unsolved mysteries on Netflix. I love shows like that.
Yeah.
So good. Just like sometimes paranormal, but often just like someone's murdered someone, but no one can prove it and the body has not been found. Or the body has been found, but still can't prove it. That's right. He's done it.
Struck again.
And so often in them, it's so frustrating because they, in the episode, they almost prove and they know that this person has done it, but they don't know where the body is and they have no proof. And it's like, it's wild. They're like straight up. They have all the information, but none of the proof.
That's messed up.
It's so crazy. Like, especially some of the later episodes of the later season, season 3. Yeah, it's frustrating because you're like, go get them. Like, they're right there.
Yeah.
They know who it is. It's frustrating, but yeah. So I've been watching a lot of that. And we may move on to watching on ToeVee, the like free streaming service. They have the original unsolved mysteries from like the 80s or 90s.
Cool. Yeah.
And I think the host was actually one of the actors in Airplane or Flying High.
Yeah, right.
Which is bizarre to see him in that because it's such a serious show.
Yeah.
And that movie is not a serious movie. But yes, I also ended up watching randomly The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Okay.
Which I did not know how many big actors were in that movie.
You weren't ready to see Professor X with his shirt off?
Bizarre. Yeah. So good, though. Fun movie. Very cool. I watched We Have a Ghost.
Good.
It's fun.
Yes.
It's like, it's not super funny. Yeah. But it's a good movie. Like,
yeah, cool.
It's a good fun movie. Have you seen it?
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like it's not like hilarious. Some parts are kind of like sad almost.
Does it feel a bit like Adam Project that kind of Netflix production? Yeah,
probably that. Yeah, for sure. Less family as well, maybe, but it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, cool.
It makes you really hate the people that you're meant to hate.
Yeah, good.
Like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah. Not a good guy.
Like him.
Yeah, wow.
Most of the movie. But yeah, there's obvious reasons and you'll pick up on it during it. But he picks up later, but just to start with, it's come on, dude. Yeah, you're very annoying. But so watch that. But we can talk about all the other things that I've watched in the last week. Because in 1 week, I also watched Shazam, D&D, and the Mario movie.
It's good. It's good spread.
Go through those. Hell yeah. Just had to catch up on all the nerd stuff that was out right now.
Yep. I guess the quickest one to talk about, because it's kind of past now, is Shazam. Like, how did that one fit for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good fun. I feel like maybe I should have watched the first one again leading up to it. But yeah, it was good fun. This was probably the least of the movies for me. It was good fun. There were funny bits. The fact that they were teasing Wonder Woman in the same way that they teased Superman, and then Yep.
That's so good.
That was great fun.
That entire sequence was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So freaking fun. Yeah. And then that's right. And then they superimpose old dude's
wizard.
old mate's head on top.
It's so silly.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
So Shazam, pretty good.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Yeah.
Good fun movie.
Very sad how hard it bombed. Like, it's so depressing.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so, like, it's not a movie that deserves anything like that. Like, it doesn't deserve to be Endgame money, but it deserved to like be watched and enjoyed. But
yeah. So did it lose, or did it just
massively lost. Like, I don't think it made any, like, it made like hundreds of millions in loss was the thing. And it's also on streaming now. Like, it went to streaming 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it's still at the movies.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah. Big loss on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
D&D, so fun. My
very
goodness.
good.
That movie does not deserve to be as good as it is.
Yeah.
You look at that and you think, when you hear it, you think it's going to be like Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to be what it is, and it's going to be totally fine. But man, it's so fun. Like,
it's so clever.
There's so much possibility for more as well.
Yeah.
And all jokes that seem like they could be, overstaying their welcome. They finish them up just in time.
Yep.
Just so they don't overstay their welcome too much, and they don't get too tired. Like, it's close, but man, they do everything just enough for it to still be funny.
Yeah, no,
very good.
It's like, and there hasn't been that many good movies out yet. I'm sure it'll get nudged. It's my number one so far, because it's just it's the one that I enjoyed the most. I want to have, like, basically the first act is a little slow. It takes a little bit to get going, but once the party's together, it is like nonstop. The action set pieces are ridiculous. Like, if you haven't already seen this, it's not a spoiler, but one of the best set pieces involves a carriage and kind of like a portal gun, basically. And like, the things they do with that setup is just insane. Like, and the film is also, like, so practical. Like, there's great behind the scenes stuff the director has put up, and like, all the creatures are practical, unless it's like, obviously the fucking panther that walks around isn't a practical panther. But like, there's bird creatures and there's big cat creatures, and it's all puppetry. The cat ones are disgusting. Like, they're almost too silly. But very, very fun and, like, schlocky. Amazing. And also, it's from the directors and writers of Game Night, which was also a perfect film. And so it's like, I didn't know that going into it, but once I found out, I'm like, why did I ever doubt this movie? Like, why did I have any fears about this thing?
100%. And like, I think we've already discussed, but they take one of the camera shots from Game Night and they kind of redo a similar thing where in Game Night there's a point where they're trying to, like, hit a door handle. Every time they hit it, like, the camera sort of shifts, keeps rotating around. And then there's a point in this where the wizard, like, grabs this circular thing on his belt and twists it, and the camera moves with it.
It's so quick.
So
it's so
it
good.
follows that so well. And some of the, like, the visual effects on his face when he's, like, glitching out.
Oh my god!
When he's a hologram and stuff is just amazing. His face just starts drooping and getting elongated. It's perfect. There's just so many perfect bits in this, and us discussing it as well. It is exactly what a D&D campaign would be without being real people sitting around in a room with a dungeon master.
They're players along a story, but they're not rolling dice. They're just and, like, you were saying, some people we know were kind of expecting it to be more D&D, and maybe, like, we're suspecting that maybe it could have been like a Lego movie thing where they pull out and it's actually that group of people playing characters. But they literally do in the movie just, like, sit down and start discussing tactics. And throwing out ideas like, oh, do you have magic that would be able to do this? Hey, we have this weapon. Can we use that for this thing? And that's literally what you do. In a D&D campaign. The dialogue's so freaking good. There's also, like, because I've seen it twice now. The second time I saw it with the kind of a bunch of Pocketeers and friends who do play D&D, and there's even more in it than I realized. Like, they laughed at things, like, because we went to one of the smaller theaters, so it was basically just us. So I knew who was laughing when they were laughing, and they were laughing at things that, like, I didn't think were funny. Like, and afterwards we were chatting, and there's a bit where there's the gelatinous cube, and they utilize that, you know, in a way that seems really stupid. And in the context of the movie, I'm just like, oh, she came up with a clever idea. But for them, they were like, that's such and such. Like, you would totally be the person that's like, I'm going to put my hand in it and that's going to work. Like, they were reading it in the way that they would have played the game. And so there's cool things for them in there as well, which is really sick.
That's very cool. Yeah. I'm sure there's so much in there for people that have immersed themselves in the actual D&D lore and the actual handbooks and stuff.
Like, I was talking to my uncle and my cousin, and they are like, they're well into it all. They've read
I can imagine.
Yeah, they know the things. And they were saying that a sequence is in the trailers as well when Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez's character getting led away to get executed or like thrown out of the city. There's like a shot as it pulls down to them of these little creatures that are attacking a lock. And it's very focused on as it goes down. And they're explaining that those creatures are one-to-one how they look in the game. And in the game, they are creatures that the people will, and I'm going to butcher it, but they get set upon people that have metal armor and they can eat metal. And in the movie, they're eating a little metal lock. And so there's creatures throughout the film that are doing the thing they do in the game, and they're not important to the story and they don't detract from it, but they're there. And so, and they were also saying that, and I don't know how true or how we know about this, but the action in the thing, as long as a turn in D&D. So when the night guy is attacking, he's only doing a move that he would be allowed to do on a roll, and then he would have to roll again to like they are never doing like a lot of attacks. It's like swipe, stop, swipe. It's like no one's like doing heavy. And I guess Michelle Rodriguez is kind of in that sequence, like knocks a guy, and it's not like bang, 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 but like every move is stilted, but apparently that is the correct time in a game of D&D, which I'm like, that's cool.
That's ridiculous. That's so good.
Yeah, and I didn't know that, and it didn't make it feel dumb. Like that's the beauty of it. It's like
they made it work so well. Yeah,
it's so freaking good because it's just amazing. A fantasy movie. Like if you knew zero about it, you'd still enjoy it because it's just a fun action fantasy. So yeah,
and we also said like without the D&D name. People probably wouldn't have seen this movie. It feels relatively generic in terms of the story. But then when you get into it and you see the like funny jokes and the effects and the characters and things like that, you're like, all right, this is actually a really fun movie. But just in general, it is relatively generic.
Because D&D is like at a base level, D&D is fantasy at the most boring, and so it's hard to sell this movie. But they definitely it's not making crazy money, but I think the critical response, like this film hasn't dropped below like 90 or 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, so sick. It's living. Unlike the final movie, that movie is not doing as well critically.
I will just super quickly say, just back on D&D. To the crap movie.
It's not crap.
Bad. I loved hearing in the D&D movie. They mentioned Baldur's Gate a few times, and that video game series is inspired and based in Baldur's Gate within set in the Forgotten Realms Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting. So it was cool to hear that. From frickin' Hugh.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant himself.
Baldur's Gate.
Saying Baldur's Gate of like, what the heck? Yes. Very good. But yes, so back to a movie that weirdly is not. It's apparently the biggest movie of all time. Of the year. Currently. Super Mario.
Yahoo!
So freaking fun, man.
So fun.
Yeah. Like I've listened to some podcasts. I listened to a podcast in particular, and I agreed with very little of what they said about it. I hated it. They were like, I would never encourage anybody to see this movie, and I wish I never did. Like,
what the
so
fuck?
intense, so intensely negative about it. They went into it saying, we know this movie is not written for us. It is a children's movie.
Yeah.
But we have some things to say about it. And they hated it. But a lot of what they hated was the writing. And that's pretty much what destroyed the whole thing about it. Like, they absolutely hated it purely because the story was just kind of generic and some of the jokes were a bit bad. And, like, kind of generic for...
Dumb.
You know, for what it was.
Yeah.
But, you know, they were, like, visually stunning. Music, stunning.
Yeah.
Performances, stunning. And it's like, that makes, like, probably, like, an 80% movie there. Like, you know?
Yeah. And also
ridiculous.
because, like... I don't know what people who are wanting character development and story from fucking Mario... I don't understand it. Like the thing, and like it's hard to spoil this movie because admittedly nothing really happens in it. Like there isn't any plot points that we can talk about that you're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. So you know,
it's literally just Bowser is trying to get with Mario with Mario with Peach.
Yeah.
And Mario, who is from the real world, stumbles into the Mushroom Kingdom and saves it.
Yeah. That's all that happens. And
the movie,
like people, like, you know, there's people wanting character moments from them. It's also a 90-minute movie. And like people complain that it's like, well, yeah, but Pixar, but it's like Pixar generally a little bit longer. Also, like setting out to do a thing. This movie doesn't and shouldn't. Like, not every animated kids film is smart. Like, then just not. And that's okay.
Like, it doesn't have to be.
And that just frustrates me. And, like, sure, you want more out of it, but it's not for you. The fact you got any joy out of it is great. Like, that's congratulations, but it's not for you. Yeah.
There are some movies that do hit heavier for adults, and that's fine. But not every movie has to have some, like, deep, life-changing thing within it.
Yeah.
There is space to just have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is the first movie of an extremely protected character.
That is the biggest part. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they would have had to stay so safe with this film and really make sure that they don't step over the line. Nintendo would have really... had their entire bodies in that pie, not just a single finger. Making sure that everything...
That's the best gag in Dungeons & Dragons, finger in the teacup. It's fucking great. The cold finger. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So good. It's like...
Yeah, that is totally like the biggest part. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's Pixar and stuff, they have original characters. Like, you know, they can come up with whatever. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Nintendo is so protective to the point where they're suing people for having Mario on their Steam profile image. Like, insane. Yeah. Like, can you imagine having to write a story for Nintendo?
Yeah.
Like, one that they're happy with and that they're okay with you using? You would have to stay so safe. Like, the fact that this is done so well means hopefully following movies can have a little bit more creativity. They can have a bit more fun with it.
Totally.
And, you know, they can step out of this safety bubble of, like, most video game movies suck. Yeah. They're not very good.
Yeah. They had to prove themselves.
And the last couple of, like, Mario pieces of entertainment that weren't video games also not very good.
Yeah.
Really famously.
Yeah.
So they would have had to be so careful with how they do this. Yeah. And I think they did it very well. Like, for what it is. It's not life-changing.
No.
It's not, you know, it's not gonna change your mind about anything.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. Like,
so fun.
Go just have a fun time. Look out for the Easter eggs.
I watched a 20-minute video and of a guy breaking down the score, and basically the entire score encompasses every Mario video game. Like, every piece of music has at least 6 different bits of music in it from another game. It's like that is my favorite part of like the movie is beautiful, but the music is something fucking else.
The music is unreal. Like even I noticed the music, and that's not something I pay attention to. I think going in, I was expecting like a lot of themes and hoping for a lot of themes, and holy crap, did it deliver!
It's ridiculous.
I knew that there was going to be themes that I didn't pick up on, and I'm stoked for the people that did. Like that's unreal. We're not really Mario people all that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the themes that I picked up on, like, you know, the underground, like da-da-da-da-da sort of themes coming in, the main themes, you know, like little bits of Mario
Galaxy
Kart
and stuff.
themes and Galaxy and stuff like that. Like, just
so good.
Kind of like really subtly in there, but also quite prominent as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell they're there.
Yeah.
But they're kind of just hidden little gems throughout the themes. Oh, it's so good. Who composed?
Tyler Bates. It's the reason he's not on Guardians 3, unfortunately. But
right.
Tyler Bates is like he's one I don't talk about often, but every piece of music he's ever written is fucking perfect. So
yeah, nice.
So yeah, no, the music was amazing. The visual style was great. There's a funny thing about it though that I was talking to Pete about. Like, there's a strange disconnect in watching it that it didn't feel like a movie. I think because everything's so familiar, a lot of it felt like a cutscene. Like it didn't feel like even when the movie ended, I was like, it was like cutscene. But then I think the easiest translation is it almost felt like a TV movie because it was like, it was short and it was just very poppy and simple. And I think knowing the characters in the world so much, it was such a strange thing to absorb because it didn't feel like a movie, which it's weird because I loved it, but there was a weird disconnect of like, I don't know. And maybe it is in that it didn't have too much story. And so it kind of just felt like filler. But it was a really odd feeling when it ended. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, stunning. Like definitely the best looking Illumination film ever. Gorgeous.
It's so poppy. Like, man. Just beautiful. They did so well. I think the performances from the voice actors were amazing as well. Like, I've heard a lot of people, and I quite agree, like, Donkey Kong is kind of a standout.
Yeah.
Like, he was great. He was so much fun. It worked. Like, you can tell when they announced it, I'm like, yeah, that voice works for a Donkey Kong. Like,
totally. Yeah. The little
nasally. And
there's literal, I feel like, beats in the script that just says laugh here. Like, nothing's happening, and then he just goes, it's like, why? You fucking weirdo.
100%, yeah. And I looked up Jack Black improvised the song at the time because of course he did. But just peaches. So
good. So good. I think my 2 points on the voice acting is Chris Pratt was perfect. Like, he sold it so well.
He did really well. Like, I struggled to hear Chris Pratt in it.
I struggled to hear Emmett.
His voice.
Like it could have just sounded like Emmett from the Lego movies, but there was a different cadence to it, which was really cool.
There was an Italian New Yorker in there. And there was some parts just in his enunciation where it's like, oh, there he is. But and Charlie Day was mostly just Charlie Day, but he also did a great job. He has a animated character voice.
Totally. I think the worst character was not character, because I think character-wise was great, but Anya Taylor-Joy was possibly the least interesting. I would have loved a voice that was, because it's the hardest thing is they strayed away, but still each of them captured an essence. Peach's voice is, and it's like she was just a person. And so it didn't have as strong an identity as each of them kind of brought a bit of themselves. Anya Taylor-Joy is awesome in a live action sense and like a great actor and performer, but doesn't have an interesting voice. And so it felt like Peach didn't have as interesting of a performance just purely because of that. I don't know how you fix that. Maybe you get like the sister from DuckTales. You get a character actor to do a voice potentially. But yeah, that was the only performance in it. And I think it is harder. Like even in Sonic, they got the original Tails actress. They didn't bother getting a new voice because they're like, that is how Tails sounds. So yeah, it was the only performance that I was kind of like, there's nothing going on there, which was a shame.
Yeah, but it's also like I didn't feel like it detracted that much. It's a noticeable thing. She's just out of all the characters, if you think about it, you're like, she just kind of wasn't really anything. Yeah, but you kind of have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's not all that noticeable. It's just that everyone else brings so much to it that it's just noticeably a little dry there.
Yeah. But no, amazing friggin' production.
Really fun thing. Looking forward to more.
Yeah.
I heard some funny stuff. Did you stick around for a post-credits?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah? So I heard spoilers, jump forward like 30 seconds or whatever, but there was the post-credits is an egg cracking, and then you hear Yoshi! Yeah. And I think there was a clip of it or something online, and the Filthy Casuals podcast that I mentioned before said that there was some comments going, was that Yoshi? It's like, are you serious?
Good.
Are you like,
what do you think
very
that
clearly
was?
Yoshi egg, with the character saying Yoshi may not have been Yoshi?
Yeah. Weird.
What the hell is wrong with you?
People are dumb.
So stupid. So this will 100% get a sequel.
Yes.
Looking forward to it as well, because it's great.
Yeah.
Really keen to see what they do. I hope they step out of their comfort zone and do something more fun and creative with it too.
It's both this and Dungeons & Dragons, whilst there is that post-credit scene, both do something that I've adored, which is they put everything into the film that they wanted to do. There's nothing, there's a little thing of Peach, there's a story that could get followed into a sequel, but like across the two of them, it is a finished film. Dungeons & Dragons especially, there is no tease. It's like, we're done and we may never make another one. And I just like that, especially in these franchise-seeming movies. It's very nice to have a closed end. So I appreciated that. And it makes these movies interesting and constantly moving, because it's like, they're not saving anything for a sequel. They're just like, well, we want to do all the things, so why wouldn't we do all the things? And I think one of the D&D producers was like, because someone was like, are you holding anything for a sequel? And he was like, well, if we can't come up with more things for a sequel that we haven't done here, then we shouldn't make a sequel, which is an interesting way to put it. It's like, why save anything? Because if you exhaust yourself in this and you can't come up with anything, then don't make another movie. Like, that's just how it is. And so I liked that both of these movies were just like, we're going to do everything, and that means that we can't do this thing again, so the sequel is going to be cooler. Like, there's no way that the sequel is not more interesting because everything's in it. But yeah, really good. Really good.
100%. Very good. Awesome.
Movies are fun.
Yeah. Have you got anything else?
No, that's it. That's all my recs.
Cool. I just have 3 games that I've been looking at. I did it. Freaking did it. I platinumed Riders Republic.
Good.
I don't know why, but I did it. Shout out to Joshy for tracking down someone for me to do that online challenge with. And I'm gonna shout out the person. Yep. Because I cannot remember their game tag. They have their own thing as well. Where is it? Prov.
Yeah, nice.
Prov. I met Prov at PAX this year. We have a photo together with a group of people as well.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for helping me out on that one. And if he's even watching, and I hope he enjoys the game as much as I have, because he's sort of in early stages of checking it out and enjoying it so far. It is also coming to PlayStation's not collection, but one of their I don't think it's like the free game getting handed out, but I think it's just part of the group of games that you can play on a certain tier or something soon, which is very cool. I also started playing Dredge.
Yes, good.
The game that I was part of making that didn't get a chance to actually properly play. And it's really fun.
Yeah, good.
I really, really like it. I'm definitely going to continue playing it and play it through to completion. But yeah, in making a game, especially when you're only on a small part of it, like I was for Wayward Strand and this, you really don't get a chance to play it and understand the story and the full mechanics of it. Like, they sort of, especially when porting it, they just kind of go, we want vibrations in these sections.
Yep.
So they tell you the cheats to enter to skip you to those locations for then you to see the event happening, and then you go, cool, this is the vibration, I'll add to that. And then you just find in code where to trigger that vibration, and that's it. Like, that's as much as you see of those story beats or those moments. But for the most part, I don't know what the story is.
Yeah.
I've just seen the monsters, but I don't know why they're there. So stuff like that, which is really cool. So I'm going into it with a weird perspective because I'm like now a fan of the game that I worked on, but I know very little about it. But what I'm feeling in the controller,
you did it. Yeah, totally.
It's really weird.
That's cool.
But yeah, so I'm really enjoying that so far.
You got spoiled on all the stories of Ashes and Big Bash Boom. You knew the full narrative of what would happen.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I was in too much of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's really, really cool. Like, it's just got a really satisfying loop. With that, time moves while you move and while you're fishing. And so you upgrade your boat to be able to move faster within that period of time. So you go out, you fish, you go and sell the fish. The fishmonger gives you like certain like specific jobs as well. So as you start upgrading, he's like, hey, we have this person that's come in that wants, these 3 type of fish. And at that point in the game, you would have the ability to upgrade your boat to be able to catch those types of fish now. So you go out, earn some money, catch those types of fish, and then bring in those fish to him. There's a bit of inventory management in terms of like puzzling. It's like a Resident Evil style thing, which is very cool. Moving the fish around also has a jiggle to it. So as you move things like left and right, they sort of like their whole bodies jiggle.
Cute.
They've got like a fun little jiggle to them. Which is very, very well done by the devs. And yeah, the story just really, it unlocks in such a natural way. And like, it's sort of open world, but it is very directed. Like, it does just say like, you've got a list of things to do, and it's like, go here now, go here now, go here now. And there is a linearness to it, whilst also having a bit of exploration. Like, while you're going here, you'll see an island that you haven't been to before, and you can go there, and there's a guy there, and he'll ask you to do anything for him. But you don't have to. It's there.
It sounds like Lake. It sounds like fishing postal delivery. Probably.
Like, there probably is a bit of that there, because there's no real combat to the game either. There's just mini games for fishing, and those mini games as well is just while you're fishing, time is moving forward as well. And the mini games are basically like, it might be a circle with some wedges in it and a line that moves around, and you just press a button in those wedges. It's a very satisfying vibration
with that
I put in. It's very, very nice. But each time you correctly push the thing, like your fishing rod, which is already moving as this thing's going around, jumps up further. So it just means that it can jump up further, which means you catch the fish faster, which means you can do more fishing before it gets to nighttime. And nighttime is where things start getting weird, and there's a little eyeball up in the top corner, which is your eyes. And as it gets darker and you don't sleep for longer periods of time, your eyes start like darting around because you're like really nervous about what's out there, and your psyche, there's like psychosis. It's like a psychosis meter. So you need to regularly stop at a dock and sleep to be able to get through those periods of time.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, it starts playing on your mind. You start, imagining things that attack your boat. But when you imagine those things, they actually do attack your boat.
Yeah, okay.
And damage your boat. But it is just part of the psychosis. They wouldn't be there if you slept properly.
That's cool.
It's cool. There's a lot of cool mechanics in there. It's really good. And it's not that expensive either. If you buy it digitally, I think it's like $35.
Yeah, okay.
On like nearly everything. I think it's closer to like 50 or 60 physically, but that's the deluxe edition, which gives you a bunch of extra stuff. Like there's a little art book and some extra DLC, some stickers, the soundtrack, just stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
So it's cool. Really enjoying it. I also started playing on Thursday night, I think, just for a couple of hours. Atari Mania.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good.
I jumped on it. It's really cool. It seems to be a short game.
Yep.
And it was more than I would like to spend on the size of the game that it is. But it's really fun. It's very WarioWare, which I wasn't expecting.
Sick. I like that.
Yeah, so the whole idea is that it's all Atari games, if you couldn't tell. I'm pretty sure it was put out by Atari as well. But they're going back to like their kind of original Atari games.
Yeah. And
it's a love letter to those games in the way that you are a caretaker of the Atari Vault.
Yep.
And the all of the characters from the Atari games live there, and they turn up and they're meant to like be in their video game, and you can play their video game because they're in there, but then you can also talk to them and interact with them. But there's these dead pixels that appear around the vault, which is this very weird thing, and these characters are getting pulled into these dead pixels, and you need to go save them. And when you find these dead pixels, they're essentially like kind of bad guys, like, they in different ways. Like one of them was fear. It's probably like,
inside
like,
out.
Yeah, like fear, anger, all that sort of thing. Like there's some different things. But they combine 3 different Atari games. And there's, generally like 10 mini games that you play through, but it's a limited amount of time to complete each mini game, and it's like 5 to 10 seconds.
Oh, so it is WarioWare.
Yeah, it really is. So it just like throws you in. It says like, like initially it runs you through each of the like the video games as a very condensed thing. So it might be like, don't let the block pass, and it's Pong. Yeah, so it's just like you just play Pong, the ball just goes, and you just have to last for the amount of time. Yeah. And then like it'll go through sort of a very basic version of each of those. But then it'll be like, don't let the aliens hit the runner. And so the 3 games would be Pong, Olympics, and some alien game. Yeah. And so these aliens are trying to like go down and hit the runner. Yeah. And you're the Pong paddle, and you need to run into these aliens and stop them from hitting them. And you just have to last for, another 10 seconds. Yeah.
That's cool. So they all combine.
It's really cool. Yeah, and it just throws you in. So it just mashes them up in really fun, interesting ways. And I think there's like 30 games or 50 games that are then mashed up into other weird amalgamations of these games as well. It's really fun. Like I've only played for a couple of hours. Yeah. And I think I'm like 30 or 40% done. So it's pretty short.
Yeah, cool.
But I've really, really enjoyed my time with it so far. It's been sick.
Cool. Oh man. Yeah. I'll definitely jump. That sounds like my jam. I like my WarioWare, so that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So it is quite cool. Yeah. Do you have my PlayStation account on your PlayStation still?
I don't know if I do on my PS5. Maybe. I'll have a look.
Okay. Because you could just play it on mine if not.
Yeah, that's true. Sure. Yeah, I'll log in.
Yeah, cool.
Sick. That's cool.
That's it. That's all I've been playing this week.
That's all the rec seg. I am currently reading the Dungeons and Dragons A Druid's Call because I bought both books. I'm currently reading the kind of more young adult one, which is based on Doric, which is the Tiefling character. So yeah, it's a good book. It's definitely a children's book. But
you had those at in the last pod that we did together?
I think so, yeah. I might have shown them off, yeah.
Or you were showing them. No, you didn't have them.
No, I just newsed them.
You were showing them as news.
Yes.
Very cool. Yes, you got them. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm keen. I bought basically everything from that fucking movie.
Yes, you did, yes.
I'm not buying the monsters. I'm not getting the monsters. That's just too much. Just the humans, it's fine. But yeah, that's a good rec seg. I'll probably re-rec the Atari thing next week because I feel like I want to do
nice.
that.
Yeah, cool. Give it a go.
Or it may be some of the things that are coming out this week in the ToeVee guide. First off, on Tuesday the 18th, Disney Speedstorm, which is the Disney kart racer, which I don't think I really knew existed. I feel like I maybe missed whatever stream maybe you and Ben were watching a thing where it got revealed. But it's it's the monsters, whatever they're fucking called. It's like it looks really good. Like it looks as good as a licensed kart racer does. It gives me vibes of like when a license does a Super Smash clone. Like they've put everything into it. People will play it for a little while and just never touch it again. It's hard to. Yeah, the character design's cool. It looks a little bit Disney Infinity, actually. Like seeing them pop up just then. That. So I don't know if it's the same crew, but that's cool. There's a black and white world. That's coming out on everything, which is always fun to say when like it's just. It's not worth naming the consoles. It's just on everything.
There's too many. There's too many now. It's ridiculous.
Let it all happen. Wednesday the 19th, next day, of course, the final episode of The Mandalorian. It's all over. It's all been leading to this. I'm very scared. But
is it like literally over? Is this the end of the Mando? Is it like a trilogy season? Or?
well, like one of the big things out of Star Celebration is that there's a movie coming that's going to wrap up the Mandalorian universe.
Yeah, that's right.
So there may be a few more seasons, but it is everything that happened in the previous episode is quite large, so it'll be interesting to see where we're headed in the finale.
Very cool.
You're gonna have a fun time one day when you sit down and watch them.
Binging all of that.
Yeah. Has Max watched Mando stuff?
No, she's not. She is a grounded movie story person, so she's not into aliens and stuff at all.
That's good.
I think Guardians even pushes it a little bit, so she's not super into it. I will sit down and watch it with her one day, but I can just watch it by myself.
I was saying because the Zing guy, Justin, who I chat with, he hasn't been able to watch the new season because his wife has finally been like, I want to watch this, and you're not allowed to watch the new one. So I was like, if she wants to watch this, then you're never going to watch this season. But that's good. You've got to. You can just watch it by yourself.
I will be forcing her to watch it one day.
Yeah. Also, though, on the Wednesday, something you probably may want to watch is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, which is the original crew coming back on Netflix. So
on Netflix, cool. I have seen little teasers of that this week.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a few Rangers missing, and they've been swapped out. I think for later season characters potentially.
Sure.
But yeah, it's the OG ones coming back to be the Rangers once more, which is very cool. Yeah. For a season as well, it's not a film. It's an actual like show, which is cool.
Yeah, right.
I think that's cool. Quite fun. Also on Wednesday is Minecraft Legends coming to everything. The kind of RPG Minecraft game finally coming out.
Great.
Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters is coming to consoles. It came out on PC, I think, last year, but this is the up-res of the original games, not remakes into like third-person stuff. It's just bringing the originals to console.
Yep.
But also on Wednesday, of course, Josh, is Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores coming to PS5. Yes, indeed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's time to get back in, Josh. You're never finishing Dredge.
No, guess not. Oh, man.
On Wednesday, so get keen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm in.
Very good. On Thursday, we've got Evil Dead Rises, which is kind of a soft reboot thing of the Evil Dead films, like the Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi ones. And also on Thursday is Beau is Afraid, which is the very strange-looking Joaquin Phoenix film.
Yeah.
Which I still don't know what is happening in that movie.
Looks insane. Looks so bizarre.
I will be talking about that on probably the next pod, potentially. So I'll let you know. On Friday, we've got Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp finally coming out after being delayed because of the world. Only on the Switch. And also not on the Switch, much like... Beau is Afraid. There you go. What a great link. Dead Island 2, which is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And not coming to our Twitch channel.
No, probably not. Almost definitely not.
No, we're good.
Unless we get given it from PS Plus or something.
Yeah, we're not playing that
Or it comes to Game Pass.
Or we played in 10 years.
Yeah.
That's when it'll get played.
Absolutely.
And then Saturday and Sunday this coming week is, of course, Supernova Melbourne. We'll be there Saturday, probably just the Saturday.
Probably.
And I will probably just be in lines for 90% of the day, I fear.
Probably.
We'll see. But that is everything that you can get in your face this week, including us, if you go to Supernova Melbourne.
Right. Come get us in your face.
Come get us in your face. If you want more of us in your face, you can go to etto.card.co, where all the links for the places that we're at. Twitch is one of those places. Josh, Twitch is where some of us will be on Monday.
It's true. So, basically, I guess we might as well say it now.
It's already happened.
It's already happened, but, you know, if you happen to miss the stream and you're listening to this, basically, Monday will be our primary stream day for the three of us, for Will, for Ben, and for me. So it'll probably be sort of alternating between me and Will and me and Ben.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe just Will to give you a break, so you're not doing double billing. And
that's true. Yep. Or like you and Ben can do a thing, or you know maybe there will just be a break. But Will with his 3 jobs currently just needs a bit of time, needs a bit of downtime. And Ben now also has a partner, and Fridays is one of the main crossover days where they have free nights. It just makes sense to sort of push everything into one space and just, have Melbourne Mate Mondays.
Melbourne Mate Mondays. It rolls off the tongue better.
That's it, yeah. Will jump in when he can. When he's not feeling like death from doing way too much.
I'm trying.
But yes.
I'm trying to feel like death. But it'll at least also make for a more consistent Monday stream slot as well, I think. It'll be far harder to not happen. Because I don't want to put words in Ben's mouth, but I know he likes streaming. And Ben might just go live on the channel at some point because he likes playing games.
That's it. He can take it.
That and also that figures. We'll be back next fortnight. We did one last week. You can check that out on the YouTube channel, and keep your eyes on Patreon at a certain tier because there may be some that figures stuff for you guys to watch very soon. But this is enough. You've watched enough. You've listened to enough.
We're done. We're done here.
We're done here. Until the next time, I have been Will.
I have been Josh.
Good night or morning.
Or morning.
Hang on. I'm getting there.